stake here that must not be surrendered. Which of us should tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people.
Will you take account for me? Certainly. Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all? But we are going to be christened this afternoon.
For my sake, you're prepared to do this terrible thing?
I am.
To please me, you're ready to face this fearful ordeal?
I am.
Oh, how absurd to talk about the equality of sexes. When matters of self-sacrifice are concerned, men are infinitely beyond us.
We are.
This courage in which we women know absolutely nothing.
Oh, darling.
Darling.
Lady Bracknell.
Oh, good heavens.
Gwendolyn, what does this mean?
Merely that I'm engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Come here. Sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is a sign of mental decay in the young and physical weakness in the old. Apprise, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small coin, and followed her immediately by a luggage train. Her unhappy father, I am glad to say, is under the impression that she is attending a more than usual lengthy lecture at the University Extension Scheme on the permanent income on thought. I do not propose to undeceive him. Indeed, I have never undeceived him on any point. I would consider it wrong. Therefore, you will understand that all communication between yourself and my daughter must cease immediately from this moment. On this point, as indeed in all other points, I am firm.
I am engaged to be married to Gwendolyn.
You are nothing of the kind, sir. Now, as regards to Algernon.
Yes, Aunt Augusta?
May I ask if this is the house in which your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, resides?
Oh, no. Bunbury lives somewhere else. In fact, Bunbury's dead.
Dead? When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been extremely sudden.
Oh, I killed Mr. Bunbury this afternoon. Mr. Bunbury died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
He was quite exploded.
Exploded? Was he a victim of a revolutionary outrage? I was not aware that Mr. Bunbury was interested in social legislation. If so, he is well punished for his morbidity.
No, what I mean is he was found out. The doctors found out Bunbury could not live, so Bunbury died.
He seems to have had a great deal of confidence in the opinion of his physicians, but I am glad that he made his mind at the last and acted upon proper medical advice. Now that we have finally got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, may I ask, Mr. Worthing, who is that young person whose hand my nephew Algernon is holding in what seems to me a particularly unnecessary manner?
This, Lady Bracknell, is Miss Cecily Cardew, my ward.
I'm engaged to Miss Cardew, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell.
I do not know if there's something particularly exciting about the air in this part of Hertfordshire, but the number of engagement that goes on seems to me incredibly above the average that statistics have laid down for our guidance. I would think that some preliminary inquiry on my part would not be out of place. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the larger railway stations in London? I merely desire information. Until yesterday, I had no idea that there were any families or persons whose origin was a terminus.
Miss Cecily Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, Dorking and Surrey.
That seems not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspires confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully guided the court's records. They are open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
I have known strange errors in that publication.
Well, Miss Cardew's solicitors are Messrs. Markby, Markby, and Markby.
Markby, Markby, and Markby, a firm of the very highest position in their profession. Indeed, I am told that one of the Mr. Barkburys is occasionally to be seen at dinner parties. So far, I'm satisfied.
I'm glad that you are satisfied, Lady Bracknell. You will also be glad to hear that I have in my possession certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, vaccination, confirmation, and measles, both the English and German variety.
Ah, a life crowded with incidents, I see. But perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. I myself am not fond of premature experiences. Gwendolyn, the time has come for our departure. We have not a moment to lose. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I had better ask if Miss Cardew has any little fortune.
Oh, only about 13,000 pounds in the funds. It's very nice to see you, Lady Bracknell. Have a nice ride back to town.
A moment, Mr. Worthing.